Hi, this is Yaragamani. I'm a management coach and a trainer. I have 28 years of rich experience in various industries of Tata and Murugappa Group, heading operations, supply chain management, and logistics. And I carried almost more than 2,500 hours of training for the working professionals from industries, business, and other areas. And also, I teach supply chain management, logistics, and distribution in various business schools for the students. So, this is my background. So, let us see about transportation management. It's a part of logistics and part of supply chain management. Let us get into the session today. Welcome you all for this session. So, role of transportation in logistics. Transportation is a physical link connecting the firm to the supplier customers. So that is, the customer is giving the order and their requirement. Based on that, the company manufactures or produce or get prepared and the final product, and the final product is getting packed and it has to be sent to the customer destinations. So it is being produced at one end and it is being delivered at the other end. So that means, for example, if it is being produced in Chennai, then it is delivered in Delhi, or if it is produced in Chennai, it is delivered to Hyderabad. So whichever the location of the thing. So material once is produced, it has to be transferred or shifted to the customer place. So there should be a wire media. There should be a medium for that to do that. So that medium is transportation. So that means, as we say, communication. So communication doesn't happen by one way; it is a two-way. So both the sender and the receiver has to interact. So like this, the transportation is one thing where product is being produced by the person and the buyer's organization has to receive the material. So either there are different types of things are there. Either sometimes what happened, the buyer organization himself, they arrange the transportation and get the material for them. And there are other things also we call as milk run system. Milk run system is a thing where when a company outsources a material to their vendors and small business partners. Okay, so there could be what is a rare chance that that of small vendors, they may have find time to come to their premises, take the material and go to their company, get it converted, then bring back as a product which is required by the buyer. So these are the things that happens in various ways and means. So nodes of link of scenario, transportation is a link between the fixed facilities. Okay, that is between the seller and the buyer. The transportation also adds value to the product by providing the time and place utility for the firm's good. Then the firms engage in a global competition. Transportation costs are becoming more and more significant and more challenging also today, because there's one thing, you can ship it by sea route or by the air cargo. Generally, air cargo is slightly expensive. So, role of transportation in logistics, it is 1.84% of customer service and 0.5% of administration and 0.38% of carrying cost is 1.5%. Outbound transportation was clearly and largest component of total physical distribution cost. So, cost trade-off abound by in the transportation are typified by the trading lower inventory cost in the transportation. So transportation selection and decision, transportation the supply chain relationship. The firms need to recognize that lowest cost carrier does not necessarily guarantee that its carrier will result in the lowest landed cost. See, it is not only we have to look for when you say cost reduction immediately. The company, most of the organizations, what they tend to do is, it's a mistake also, that they see that who is the lowest operating operator or carrier or logistic person, they select it. So it is not only that we have to have a lowest landed cost. Also, the reliability part is very, very important, because keeping in the mind that what to say, customer should not get suffered, because if the reliability part is not, it's a big question, then we are not very sure that material which is being sent by that carrier to the customer, whether reached or not. So we have to keep tracking, because each and everything when we cannot keep very closely watched, because very practically difficult. So transportation selection decision, the carrier selection decision is based on the various modes of transportation should be considered. Choose of carrier and carrier selected mode of their choice. It depends upon the destination, geographical location, the transport availability in such areas. Suppose if we are looking for a sea shipment, and in a particular area where there is no nearby port is available, so there is no point in sending by there, because from the port to their destination, maybe if it is 500-600 kilometers, so that is once again it is not going to be help us in sending the route. So it's very important when selecting the carrier that one thing is the price should be competitive. It's not the lowest price. We can use this word, competitive price could be the better thing, and better proximity, and what to say, easy mode of convenience, and it should be reach the customer at given point of time. That's more important thing. So accordingly the selection should be done. So carrier determines, as I told, cost, transport time, and reliability. Reliability is a major thing here, because we should be assured once we hand out that material to the logistics person, we should be assured that it will be delivered. So you should keep in a second thought in mind that whether it will be done or not, what I will do if my customer asks. So that type of ambiguity should not be there. Then capability of the person, how to assess the capability, based on the past performance, checking with their current clients, how is their service and other things. Based on that we can do that. Then accessibility, so you should be readily accessible. It is not that only that physical accessibility, also by phone of any kind of urgent need. And very important thing is flexibility is also very important, along with security. The pragmatics of carrier selection, it's a transit time, reliability, negotiated rates, consolidation of shipments among the few carriers. So this is one of the prime thing which is being done today because of cost economics. So suppose if we logistics person is taking some 3-4 orders from different organization, and it goes to one single location or very close or nearby. For example, if you take it goes to Delhi, and he also he can take additional load if he doesn't have the sufficient filling capacity of his carrier. Then he can, if it's a consumer is going from Chennai to Delhi, and suppose if it is Noida or Gurgaon, so they can take that order also there, and you get filled up one thing, and the consumer can reach from Delhi. From Delhi to Noida, you can arrange the intermittent transport, and you can easily deliver it actually. So this type of consolidation of shipment is required there, considering the cost economics, the financial stability, the sales rep, and special equipment. So importance of ranking of carrier selection is, first one is the transit time reliability, or the consistency of operations. So first one is transit time, because everybody is concerned about that. If for example, if I am booking something today, so then if I am asking that when will be reached, so if they say that next 2 days it will reach, it means so next 2 days it will reach, then okay, or maybe the third day morning will reach. It's not a major thing. But what happens basically is, the thing is, most of the cases it doesn't happen actually. So that's why people are talking about the transit time reliability. So door-to-door transportation, if possible, the willingness of the carrier to negotiate for the rate changes, equipment availability, then financial stability, shipment expeditions, and also quality of the carrier salesmanship. It all matters in. Why this ranking is important? Because when you want to select the carrier, so this will become very helpful in selecting the carrier. So basic modes of transportation is, basic mode is rail, motor, water, pipeline, and air. Distribution in tons and mile. So basic models of transportation is railroads. So today actually extensively rail transportation is being used by many of the organizations to the close proximity, because it is also it is most reliable, first part. Second thing, cost also it is working out much better compared to other things. So once again, it is the selection is based on what to say, the customer requirement and their need and their purpose. Okay, so the rail transport is capable of carrying the wide range of products. A very small number of carriers, likely one, will be able to serve another customer location. The trend to be merger in smaller companies into larger ones. So basic modes of transportation, railroads. This would permit a seamless clock-to-clock service by one company, a distinct improvement over the current systems. Rail is a long haul, large volume of system, and its high fixed cost and owns rights of way. Accessibility can be a problem. So the thing is, what exactly it is meant is the responsiveness. See, if you take in the logistics carrier, a private carrier, so if something is there, then we can the comfortability and accessibility is much better. So when it comes to rail transportations, so always people have a second thought of it, because how could be their response from them, how reliability point, that according to me, that's not any much problem. Only the responsiveness, it's a little bit it's a concern. Basic model of transportation, rails and roads, reliability and safety are improving in general goods. Premium intermodal services, double tracks, road rail service, unit train service, and continuing to that, the motor carrier industry is characterized as a large number of small firms. More than 5 lakhs registered motor carriers are there, but today it is much more. It is not less than some 8 lakhs. Low cost of entry causes large numbers, consists of hire and private carrier. So, what's the overview of interstate motor industry? It is for hire, it's for private. For hire, it is interstate. For private, it is a state and local. Interstate operates with contract, regulated and exemption. Basic models of transportation of motor carriers: high accessibility, transit time faster than the rail or water, reliability can be affected greater by the weather. Here only one thing is that when the climatic conditions says heavy rains are there, so the carriers cannot move at the speed which is supposed to do that, and there could be a lot of cautions are required when traveling. There could be some delay, likely delay could be there. And suppose if it is heavy rains and floods and other things, and it becomes very uncertain. So any activity is having some sort of uncertainty and risk. So we have to take a calculated risk, and we have to see that what type of products we are going to transport, and what's going to be a geographical location and other things. So small vehicle coincides with the low inventory strategies and quick replenishments, relatively high cost compared to rail and water, and trades off much faster. So that's why we have to take a decision considering all these factors. See, rail transport is having much reliability, cost also is a little bit low. Only thing is, whenever we want to have some queries to be addressed, some issues to be there. So how could be the responsiveness could be there? That could be only second opinion can be, thought can be there, but otherwise it's a better thing. That's so we have to see based on the requirement of our own, and where it has to be delivered, how it has to be delivered. So that's why we have to decide. And domestic carriers, relatively low cost, more typical long distance mover of low value and bulk type material, low rates but transit times, low accessibility but high capacity. So generally cargo ships have larger, higher capacity. It is the vessels are cargo vessels are much of higher capacity, engaged on a contract basis, and many have self-contained cranes and of loading unloading. With good lot of infrastructure where material handling can be easier. So bulk carriers, specially designed to haul the minerals, can handle multiple cargoes. So tankers, basically it is larger vessels afloat from VLCCs and 500 plus tons, where it contains a lot of bigger items and oil and other things. Container ships, high speeds for the ships, increasingly more common and important. Large vessels can handle up to some 5,000 containers. So very huge. International water carriers, RO, that means roll on, roll off. Basically, it's a large ferry that facilitates the loading, the unloading process by using a drive-on or campus. Air carriers, It is also more reliable, and it is what to say, can be travel to any destination of your choice. But only thing we have to take into consideration is the cost factor, because slightly it is generally it is higher than the other type of mode of transportation. By any air carriers, you can carry air freight, although some haul nothing but freight. Cost structure is highly variable. Do not own rights of way. The transit times are fastest the mode. Biggest advantage is some emergency we want to travel. For example, particularly when you want to transport medical equipment or medical devices, or what to say, medicines in emergency, so that could be the better choice, because considering other factors there. So in COVID situation also, many of the air cargos by operating what is helping the governments and other hospital authorities in bringing the what is say, medicines and other equipments from the one part of the country to the other, also for importing purpose also. So the average revenue per ton mile is 18 times higher than the rail, twice than the motor carriers. Accessibility is low, as is capability. Reliability is subject to weather more than other modes. So only one thing is, when you say weather, definitely like road transport, this air transport is also having that when we have some bad weather and other climatic conditions. So transportation of pipeline, it refers to the oil pipe or natural gas, where ONGC and all is involved, and petroleum corporations are involved in that, IOC like that. Some research has been performed to move the minerals in a liquid medium, but outside of a few attempts to transport slurried coal via pipeline, and no real success have occurred so far. Accessibility is very low, particularly in the pipelines. Cost structure is very high, because we have to lay down the pipes for a very longer length, and you have to maintain that. And when you pass through some important areas like agricultural lands and other things, it becomes very difficult to what do you say, get the local support. So owns rights of way, much like the railroads. Major advantages: low rates, the performing rates of the modes, cost, transmit time, reliability, capability, and accessibility and security. And this is just a rating, just to understand that the cost versus railroad, cost versus motor. So just to understand where we are standing in. So legal classification of common carriers liable for damages products carried. So that means your product is being assured, because we are having what to say, insurance for that in worst case if something goes wrong. So exceptions to liability include acts of God, acts of public enemy, acts of public authority of the shipper, and defects inherent to the goods. So it's a backbone of transportation industry. So legal classification of contract carriers: for hire carrier that does not have the serve the general public, it may serve one few slippers, may have specialized equipment. Small package carriers, the fast service and premium rates. Then indirect and special carriers, the shippers association acts as a consolidator for the members. Object is also at lower rate. So conditions affecting the transportations. This is one thing we have to see. As you told earlier at the beginning, the geographic one area where we have to consider that shipping distance between one from the origin to the destination, and type of product, the packaging, weight, and very important thing we have to consider whether it's a perishable or non-perishable goods. Perishable goods, basically it is a thing which is like food items and vegetables, fruits, etc. So economics of scale, it's a shipment size and other things. Trade imbalance, so empty travel, that means actually if a consignment is going, you should be fully what to say, loaded. Otherwise what will happen, there could be some what to say, it is not going to have some benefit to the transporter. So that's why actually we can have a collaborative working with thing, or we can just consolidate the what to say, two or three consignments in a one single consignment in such a case. So they can work a little bit economical to the what is the shipper as well as to the customer, both side. So infrastructure, the capacity limitations, operation condition, mode, capacity, then competition and regulation. So tariff, restrictions, safety. So here one of the thing is, when you say tariff, the thing is today all of us knows that the fuel cost is highly fluctuating. So most of the time it becomes a big hurdle for the transporter or the transporting agency or organization, because it's too difficult to get some margin out of it. So because everybody runs a business or everybody operates a business to what is say, for the customer to to service a customer, uh, as a byproduct or a return of that, at least some part of revenue they should generate. So factors of driving cost is distance, volume, density, stowability, handling and liability. So transportation cost, the product related, that is density, stowability, EC, difficulty and handling, liability. Market related is intra-mode competition, location of the markets, nature and extent of regulation, balance, imbalance in freight traffic, seasonality of the products and movement. See, when say seasonality of product movements, there are some cases where if you take apples from Kashmir, apples from some part of the country where between September, October, generally that becomes a season. So then lot of transport is happening in that case. If you take Diwali season, so a lot of these crackers and dress materials getting transported from one end to another end, maybe from producer ends to the consumer end. So this type of seasonal things also it happens and it becomes a peak in that particular point of time. So transport cost structure, it is a variable cost. It's like a fuel, labor and maintenance, and fuel today it's highly fluctuating. Maintenance, yes, definitely nobody considers this much, but every transporter is having a vehicle as to it cannot avoid this cost. Handling, so pickup and delivery. So fixed is constant regardless of activity, that is facilities, equipment and administration. Joint hands in on cost unavoidable. Example, backhaul of move, common shared cost overhead, the need for activity based costing. So pricing structures, basically it is the cost of the service, cost plus method, value of the service, market based method. Combination is middle of road approach using the cost minimum and value maximum. So fixed and running cost, definitely has to be taken care, because today this running cost is keep increasing of various factors like fuel and getting of a skilled resource like drivers. So all the vehicles, transport vehicle cannot be driven by everybody. For example, particularly if it is flammable materials like oil and petroleum, other things, so requires a specialized skill drivers, certified drivers basically. So that's all running costs is keep going up. So highway and trucking costs are only slightly. And one more thing is forgot to mention is the toll. Those earlier days that was not an issue. Now if a vehicle has to pass, they have to pass minimum 4 or 5 tolls where they have to pay minimum of close to 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per way. Two way means 8,000 to 10,000 rupees minimum. So this is due to very low terminal charges, rail and water relatively high terminal charges. Rail and water networks are coarser than the higher highway, fewer terminals but larger in scale. Cost variations, difference in the cost of the service, loading characteristics, that is light, bulky goods demand higher charges than the heavy, compact articles, size of the shipment, large single consignments permit economics, the administration and the terminal cost. So conditions after affecting the cost is, as I told, geography and other things, type of product, economics of scale, trade balance. So tailored transportation is the use of different transportation networks, modes based on the customer and product category. So once again, it's a selection of the right choice of mode of transportation. Factor affecting the tailoring is the customer distance and the density. Okay, then the customer size. So if you go to a particular place, if you have some more than 2 or 3 customers, so then the one particular shipment can be done by your own vehicle. Some people do that. Very rarely we will have that choice, have delivering the material by their own vehicle if that is being worked. Otherwise, better to go for a third party logistics. So customer size, product demand and value. So routing and scheduling, goals basically is the best path to show that a network of roads, rails and shipping determine the best pattern for the shops, multiple vehicle user, driver layovers, a time day for restrictions. Benefit is greater vehicle utilization because when the vehicle not only in kind of vehicles other things, even when you have running a operation in a plant, we should ensure that the capacity is fully utilized. So similar to that, so improved and more responsive customer service, reduced transportation expenses, reduced capital investment on the equipment. So principles of good routing and scheduling is load the trucks with the deliveries for the customers closest to each other. So or otherwise we can put in one particular container, do a cross docking, and we can see that what is the distribution happens from that particular point of that particular place of the thing to the customer place. So finally, I think is the cost economics also to be taken care in today's world, because business is done also done for purpose of getting some revenue. Stops on individual days arranged together. Circular routes do not cross paths. Use largest vehicle first. It can be filled up. That is means if you have large and medium vehicles, so first preference given to the larger vehicles where we can fill that it, and the left out can be done in the medium vehicle. So what happens, it is getting balanced. Otherwise what will happen, if you the bigger vehicle will have half container consignment load, and the medium consignment also half. So both will have a issue because the cost will not be absorbed by what you say the driver's expenses, toll expenses, than other fuel and other important things. So transportation administration is a freight consideration, fleet management, rate negotiation and freight control. So trade-off between transportation costs and customer responsiveness. This is very crucial and important. Temporal aggregation is the process of combining across orders across the time. Temporal aggregation and the lost shipments and reduce the variation in the shipment sizes. However, the temporal aggregation reduces the customer responsiveness. So thank you very much for the patient listening and understanding. Hope it would have been useful to you. So we are trying to give the best of the ability and what is a gained experience in the last many years. So thank you once again, and so see you in the next audio and video.